Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for the Adventures of Robin Hood, and also a series finale discussion because it was short enough for us not to do one a few episodes in. I thought it was only 5, but it turned out to be 7. So this is a game by the same designer as Legends of Andor, which not a lot of people I know of talk about that game, but the ones I do see it say they like it. And Legends of Andor, I think it's a weak excuse of a campaign, but it's a fine puzzle game,
right?
Depending on which chapter you're playing. Here, I do prefer this.
Yeah,
I think this is
definitely does the campaign concept and literary richness better.
Yes, I very much agree. You do get the tale of Robin Hood pretty much told, and everyone is for the most part involved throughout the entire 7 chapters, and the fact that it is replayable goes a long way.
Yeah.
Like, there's one particular chapter, and there might be spoilers that we talk about, but there's one particular chapter where the story forks. Like, you make a decision, do this or do this, and then that's going to define your next 2 chapters, and then it'll culminate all at the end. Right. I don't know how to feel about this game. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's repetitive.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'd call it weak.
Yeah.
Not in the sense that it's close.
Mm-hmm.
It's close to being really good,
mm-hmm.
but it misses so many times. Too much randomness for the literary and the campaign nature of it. It's just too easy to just lose. And for people who don't get frustrated, for people who just are, okay, let's start over and do it differently, and now we know more.
Right.
You know, kind of like video games do.
Yeah.
You die, but you've learned something, and then you do better next time.
Right. But with video games, it's like immediate.
Yes.
You're like, oh, I died, boom, okay, I'm back to starting over. Versus this, it's, let's reset everything. And even playing chapter to chapter, like if you're gonna binge play this, even that gets tedious, because then, okay, we finish it out, and things don't carry over permanently like a Legacy. It's Legacy light.
Yeah.
It has some small elements. Nothing's permanently destroyed. It's all resettable. Yeah. But actually, that's not true. The whole game is permanently destroyed because the fucking we'll get to that. But in terms of physically ripping up cards or destroying tiles or anything like that, it's not in here.
Right.
But yeah, you're constantly flipping over the same tiles, and even going to those locations, it'll change depending on where you're at in the story.
Yeah. I'm very impressed with the storyline and the options and possibilities that are all woven through it.
Right.
You know, it's definitely a precursor to the ones in the past couple of years, the literary-based games.
Yes. I'm more impressed with just the production quality of the book.
Right.
Like, it's actually hardback.
Right.
Like, whenever I first saw that, like, when I saw prototypes of this game and it was hardback, I'm like, that's not retail. There's no way that's retail. And it is. Like, you get a hardback adventure book with nice design, and the writing isn't bad.
No.
Like, it's very clean in how you're finding stuff. The gameplay of this is very simple.
Yes.
And I think that's actually a good thing, because too many times of these campaign games, it's very complex. We miss probably 3 months of not playing this.
Yeah.
And we're able to quickly go back into being like, oh man, okay, here we are.
Yep.
Versus when I took a time away from Tainted Grail and came back, I was like, I have no idea what's happening anymore. So I eventually just quit the campaign because I'm like, no idea.
Yep.
Not even a clue. But it's like the story isn't it isn't bad, but it's also not its strongest point because the board stays the same. Yeah. And that's actually my least favorite part of the game, where you end up really just doing the same thing, like every single time.
Right.
You know, we started over here, we run over here, we run back, and that was
for different reasons, 2 different destinations.
Yeah,
but it does seem like that. Oh, we got to get into the castle. First time, we had no idea how to get in the castle.
Right.
From then on, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it definitely kind of holds your hand. There was one particular chapter that we forgot that the rope lets you get in and out.
Yeah.
I thought it'd just let you get out because that's how the rope was used the first time.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I do like the fact that you can look at the board and be like, because Seventh Continent and Tainted Grail and those kind of games do that stuff where you can be like, oh, there's a person here, like we can go talk to them. Or in one instance, it's like, oh, we need a rope to get out of the castle. Oh, hey, there's a rope on the the noose.
Probably there was once. There's a good chance that there will be.
Right. So I think that that's neat, but to kind of string that along for 7 chapters, I think this could have easily been done in 5. Like, it would have been succinct. It wouldn't have worn out its welcome, and you would have been like, oh, okay, that was a fun little romp, like of Robin Hood, if this is a theme you're really into.
Yeah.
Do you have any like glaring negatives on the game? Because I definitely do.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can get into the physical aspects, I've got a feeling, soon.
Yeah.
But as far as the actual gameplay itself goes, nothing really wrong.
Yeah.
Again, it just feels like it's really close.
Yeah.
It just misses on a couple of things, which keeps it from being, yes, I want to do this again.
Right. Even so, we went through the story, and it's like I have no desire to try and go back on plus mode or second time mode. Just it's like I do not care.
Yeah.
And
I have a little bit, but not so much that I'll drag you through it.
well, then here you can have the game, and then you can play it. Because this is a game enough to where you could probably attribute it almost to a gateway, like a little bit. Like there's
into this style.
Yeah, there's really nothing like on your turn. You take your 2 pieces and you they're there, and then we just go kind of like that. And it's very like I wouldn't even really call it all that fiddly. Because it's very lenient of kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of nudge a little bit, but I'm right there.
Yeah.
You don't have to take it too seriously and pull out the ruler.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
Like some Warhammer games.
Well, yeah. I actually do like how you move.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty thematic. I like the use of the shade.
Yeah.
So guards will ignore you. I like the risk reward if you can run out into the open and hope you're like, okay, well, there's still a white in my disc in here, but the red is also... And you can draw the red and you get captured.
Yep.
I think that's relatively neat. Yeah. But in terms of like overall like major negatives, it is the absolute Advent calendar board. I think that is... I thought that was going to be cool. I think you and I even had a discussion of like that should be like I've had that discussion before where it's like, oh, legacy games should include that.
Yeah,
where you pop things out and you can reset it. And they did it here, and in terms of that being... it's like, it theoretically works, but they designed it in a way that everything, even after 7 playthroughs, everything is still too tight.
Yeah.
And
some of them are loosened up enough. But
right.
Those are the ones that also have edges that are curled up.
They're completely frayed. You are destroying this game. And the fact, there's 2 things that they easily could have done. They could have made it to where why is it so tight? Like, they give you a sleeve for you to carefully stack your tiles. Mm-hmm. So you stack them and you put them in the sleeve so nothing should fall out. Mm-hmm. But they still made everything so tight, so it's like, why didn't you just make them loose so that if this is going there, it just sits in it? Yeah, it might move around a little bit, but who cares? Like, it's not like there's any secrets underneath.
Yeah.
Like the merchants and the guards, you know exactly what they're giving you. Mm-hmm. The merchants never move. They just kind of show up randomly, which also, the Advent calendar, I think, kind of breaks immersion. It's like, oh, I just beat up this noble. Well, he's back. Like, why is he back? It's like, I kind of get the guard thing where it's like it's rotating shifts, but even then, it's definitely that he went over for mechanisms instead of theme.
Yeah.
Like whenever they pop in and out, it's like, oh, okay, that guy's shift is gone, but I beat him up or killed him or whatever it is, got some hope back. And I do like the hourglass going on, showing that he's not coming back immediately.
Yeah.
So you can shoot him, or you can go beat him up, and then you can run through the shade a little bit.
Yeah, you're safe for your next move.
Right.
Most likely.
Right. But in the sense that the fact that you have to either pull out your own knife and use it as a pry bar, and even then you're destroying the edges of the board. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many of these actually end up getting ripped, or they're all stabbed in from us trying to flip them.
Carefully.
And it's not like we were just going like you flip these so many times. I mean, hell, even like the ones that are like I can't even get that one. Yeah, like that are like, oh hey, this is a one-off.
Yeah.
Like that's fine for it to be so tight, I guess. But like,
well, it's so big. That's part of what makes it more difficult to pry up.
yeah. Yeah, and so it's not the secrecy of things that are underneath it, because you're gonna see what they are anyway.
Right.
Nothing moves, so it's not like if this nobleman was here, then you flip that down, and then he moves over here, so you actually have to chase him, which would be cool. But
Right.
he's just a static noble, and so it just destroys everything. And it makes your board look like shit. Like, I'm looking at almost every single tile, and yeah, you can just see white edges. In fact, there was one that I think we played a while back that, like, almost ripped across,
Yeah,
and
you
I had to tape it. Yeah, it's over here. Yep. And that's the other thing, is, like, some of the ones stay permanently from round to round. That's the legacy part. And it just makes no sense as to why they just didn't keep it loose, so that whenever you do want to reset, you can just, oh, okay, yep, let's quickly just flip that down, instead of fraying it up on all the edges. It just, it's mind-boggling at how you end up destroying your own game. And then the second thing is they didn't even provide you with a way to peel them up.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna if you want to make them so tight, then be like, hey, here's a
Plastic
device.
Spudge or
Yeah.
prior or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was a huge design.
Or wood. Would have
Yeah.
been fine.
Well,
too.
yeah, I tried using these. And I tried
Yeah,
using these,
those
but you
are-
just smash the piece together.
Yeah. They could have included something with enough of an edge that it
Yep.
wouldn't have been dangerous. But
Yep. So if you're watching this, deciding if you should get it, do, and make sure you have a needle or a small knife that you can very, very just slightly, like,
spreading knife should work fine.
yeah. But even then, I also realized on some of our tiles, it's not even the ones that you peel up. Even the board itself gets frayed, just from trying to wedge under it so you don't destroy the piece.
Yep.
I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it kind of came down to
One flaw in an excellent production quality. One fundamental flaw in an otherwise excellent production quality system. The book, the pieces.
Yeah, I mean, all the wooden pieces are solid.
And it's good quality cardboard. It's heavy duty stuff.
Right.
And that's part of the problem.
Right, exactly. Because then it's like, oh, well, no, they'll become loose. Yeah, after they're all torn up.
Yep.
I mean, and the art is fantastic.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this is really good art. I mean,
Yeah.
even the art that was in Legends of Andorra, I always liked, because I think he does his own art.
Okay.
He's kind of like a Ryan Lockett of that, where he designs his own games. And I don't know if he did the writing himself, but if he did, then props to him on that.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, overall, it's a very light, legacy-esque Euro game with an interesting theme. I can't imagine a lot of people are going to copy this with the Advent calendar idea.
Right. How old is this?
This came out, I want to say 21.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
relatively new.
Okay.
I can tell you exactly when it.
I thought it was several years older for some reason.
No, Andor
Andor.
came out in 2012.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. This was like 4 or 5 years later.
Adventures of Robin Hood. Yep, 2021.
Okay.
So, and it came out in Germany first.
Yeah.
And I almost actually bought it in Germany, or in German, and used it as an excuse to learn more of the language. But, I mean, each story kind of did delve into, because we played like 3 in a row.
Yep.
No, we did 4.
We did 4 and then 3.
And it did kind of delve down to the same. The story turned into, especially in a 2-player game, was one person, oh, I have the item, so I'm going to be doing the quest. And you just distract Guy of Gisborne, you beat up the nobles.
Collect white cubes.
Yep, collect white
for
cubes.
later successes.
Yeah, and then, and then we did it.
Which, it's up to 4 or up to 5? 4. Like, I can't imagine what 2 other people would be doing.
Right. Well, yeah, because whenever you set it up, so like, okay, we'll just set up for Chapter 7. You have less time.
Right.
And
Hope goes quicker.
I mean, hell, in the very last one, you started out with the same hope. But I think you also had less hope from chapter to chapter. No, you had more. Sorry. Yeah, in Chapter 6, you had 11 if you had 4 people.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's actually a good point, because it doesn't change. The number of discs don't change.
Right.
Well,
you get more player discs for them to
yes, you have 2 more. Actually, so what changes is the red disc, you lose 4 hope now.
Yeah.
Because you lose a hope per player.
Yeah.
And then the purple disc brings in 4.
Which means that the other 2 players would basically be knocking out nobles and guards to
Yeah.
regain the hope.
Yeah. And there's not enough side quests for everyone to do something fun.
Yeah.
Like, you're the Guardian, you're barely doing anything with. They're always there, so that's really your only quest. Yeah. But you have everyone potentially running over here and talking to all the people. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I talked to the blacksmith's wife, I talked to the blacksmith, I talked to the carpenter, and I talked to the priest. And 3 of them did nothing, and one of them gave us the quest we needed, so now let's all run back.
Yep.
I can't imagine that'd be too fun. Honestly, I think the reason we might like it as much as we potentially do is because we didn't have 2 other people fucking doing nothing.
Right. Yeah, and even the chapter that did the big split, basically you pick one or the other.
Yeah.
Because you can only talk to the people once and then they're gone.
Yeah.
So you can't pursue both, even if you had enough people to do it.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. And then, but that gives everyone, and everyone has their own special abilities. By chapter 4, everyone gets a new special ability. Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, in a 2-player game, I felt we had more than enough. Like, 2 of them, you had something you were doing, then the other 2, I was doing everything.
Yep.
So you have one person doing the quest and the other one as support.
Yeah. It feels like it's just made too much of a compromise between literature and mechanic.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I can't think of a way to do it better. I can't think of a couple of tweaks that'll fix it.
Not with the board being the way it is.
Yeah.
I think the Advent Calendar board is actually a hindrance on its storytelling.
Yeah, because it locks too many possibilities down.
Right. It's like, well, you drew the art, and some of them you flip over and it's something else underneath. Like, oh, hey, this is nothing. You flip it, now it's a carriage. Yeah. Or you remove it, and then there's something permanent there. I think that's super cool, design-wise, but
mechanically the way it works is very few possibilities.
Yeah.
And you always know what those possibilities are.
Exactly. So even on multiple playthroughs, you're kind of like, well, I know exactly, the carriage is going to be here on this chapter, so we need to be here whenever it shows up and then beat it up.
And the only real strategic difficulty is achieving the goals means going all over the place and sometimes hunting around randomly until you start getting some lucky, good information.
Yeah.
And 2 of them we finished just by luck.
Right.
Pulling the right cubes out of the bag at the right time.
Yeah, that's true. So speaking of the bag...
Otherwise it would have been doing the same thing again and again and again.
Yes, for the same outcome, which I don't like to do.
Yeah.
Hell, even if I'm not recording... I definitely don't like doing it for the channel because it's just, hey, thank you for watching this 2-hour video, and you watch me do the same thing. But I don't even do it if I'm not recording, because it's like, I don't want to waste my actual time. Let's just fucking, okay, yeah, we did it. Let's just see what happens.
I did play Mansions of Madness once, where this particular scenario ended up being, coincidentally, I could tell it wasn't geared this way, but it ended up being, the first half was all investigation, and then the second half was just a slugfest against the main villain.
Sure.
And that doesn't color my perception of the game, because I could tell that wasn't how it was supposed to be. This one, it really seems to come down to, okay, you got to keep drawing from the bag until this happens.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah, and combat isn't exhilarating.
No.
It's literally, well, let's just fumble around in this bag of every component in the entire game. And, okay, one, okay, got him.
Yep.
And then you just throw those off, and then, like, okay, flip it. Hey, I got him. Okay, that gives... Oh, wait, no, I can't get it. Hold on, let me get my tool to flip it. And that's 2. I already knew what that was. Okay, that's a bag. That's a money bag. We're never going to save that because it's valuable for us to use it right now.
Yeah. The bag.
The bag. This is stupid. This is such a stupid idea. Like, I don't mind the bag for the... It seems like he wanted to be a minimalist, so you put everything in the bag and it's all here, and it doesn't really matter. You just have to fumble around and be like, okay, there's the disc. Robin goes. Okay, do your one thing. The guy of Gisbane goes. Okay, well now I drew the red one, and then now I have to reach in and draw one of those discs.
Thin disc, cardboard discs.
Yep. Oh, and they all stick together because they're cardboard.
To be fair, everything in the bag is a distinct shape. So you'd think it would be really easy to just grab what you're looking for out. But it turns out that...
It's really not.
Cubes are all at the bottom.
Yes.
Okay, so I just need to dig through everything.
Yep.
Everything.
Yep.
Everything.
They're all in the corner, and then you have to you have to pinch them, and then be like, oh, hey, look at 2 white cubes.
And then it's bizarrely difficult to when there's 6 cardboard discs in the bag and 1 wooden, to find that last wooden disc.
Yeah, and you really don't have to if you know, because you're just like, okay, well, the blue one's left, so let me just look in here and find it. Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of bag drawing anyway, especially like with cardboard tokens. Like my Quacks of Quedlinburg are plastic. They're the upgraded plastic pieces, because drawing cardboard, it's like they're all sweaty and stuck together, and it's just shit. Yeah. And then Vagrant Song pisses me off because the bag is tiny, so you're like pinching, and then they never mix. So, and in my Arkham Horror I upgraded, and now they're like glass and metal with the design embedded in them. I got them off Etsy, and it's a bigger bag, so it's easier to grab that stuff. But this was just more annoying and didn't ever really make a whole lot of sense, like why it was all just shoved into one bag. Not that it doesn't work, it does, like it's just mechanically.
Yeah, could have given us 2 bags.
Yeah. Or, I mean,
kind of a different shuffle.
In all reality, we didn't even need to shuffle those in the bag. You just make a stack and set them off to the side, because they only come out when the red ones do. So then you're like, okay.
That is true.
I mean, I guess because they have a different design, you could theoretically memorize which ones they are. Be like, oh, we have a snake symbol coming up. That's going to be this, this, and this.
But that would also work with all the other stuff that you know that you shouldn't know about the board.
Yeah. So ultimately, I think it kind of comes down to, this is not a horrible game to play once. I do not see any reason to ever play it again.
Yeah. Like,
I've played the Pandemic Legacy, like, 3 times. Okay. Like, Season 1 3 times, and have had a blast every single time. Right. And then, that's pretty much the only one. And Gloomhaven I've technically played a few times for different groups.
I've played 3 different...
Sleeping Gods.
Yeah.
And all those games, you're like, man, I want to come back.
Yeah.
This one, I'm like, it wasn't the worst time, but each time we finished a chapter, I wasn't thinking that was how fun that was. I was thinking one down.
Yep. Almost done.
Yep.
Yeah, it did start feeling like an endurance test.
Yeah.
Not just like, oh, what do we need to do now? It's
right.
What do we need to do this time?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We need parchment and
probably
ink.
Run all the way over there.
Yep.
And then, well, I bet we're gonna have to go back to this wagon wheel for some reason.
Right. Yeah, and I think there was even times where you were like, oh, do you want to investigate this? Is there any reason? No. because there's not.
Yep.
It's a very, very streamlined quest. You go to this person, you go and do this.
Except for the times when you have to figure out where to go, and
Right.
you do it too late. Like, that disappeared. Well, you can't get in the castle now.
Right, which,
Huh.
looking at rereading the items, I was like, oh, nope, there was very much a way we could have easily gotten in, because it told us exactly what to do, but we just forgot what a item did. Otherwise, we wouldn't have even bothered with that. Yeah, that was your second alternative way to get in,
Yeah.
but I don't even know how you get, like, that actual item without going and trading,
First chapter, we got it from the
because we
gallows.
started in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to find a way in.
Did we have to find a way
and
in?
And that was a huge
Oh,
pain in
I
the
think
ass.
I did, because weren't you, like, you were trapped in there. Yeah, you were in the castle, I was out.
That sounds familiar. too.
That was the first. Yeah. It started off with promise. I think it actually kind of ended very, very poorly, now that I think about it. The overall story.
Yeah.
Like,
Disappointing
yeah.
more than... See, again, it just feels like too many compromises for it to be exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends up being disappointing because it came close.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, 4th place in the Olympics.
Yeah, you almost got a medal. You can see it.
Your name is almost up there with everybody else's.
But better luck next time.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give The Adventures of Robin Hood?
Crap. 6.
6. I initially thought a 6, but I think I'm going to drop it down to a 5.
I gotcha.
I think it ended up being pretty average. It didn't... It's not that it overstayed its welcome, but it overstayed its welcome. It's like...
It's hard to nail down.
Yeah, it's like it was 7 chapters. It could have been longer, but
yeah.
it could have been shorter.
Yeah.
Like, if you really wanted to, like, do the split in, like, your story, then make that from the get-go. Like, make your choices matter the entire time, and not just one time.
Yeah, I can see that, but that would also take a whole lot more preparation and,
Sure.
and literature.
Sure. But, I mean, wouldn't you want your game to have staying power? I don't think this game has staying power.
Right.
I think it's...
In which case, you could release more scenario books, played the same mechanics and board.
no, you have to make a new board.
Well, but yeah, I wouldn't want to.
Right. I know. But that's the thing. It's like he basically did shoot himself in the foot by making the advent calendar. Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Good idea, it just doesn't quite
I
work.
mean, it's executed extremely poorly because your board is destroyed by the end of your first game. But, yeah, I mean, and I know there's very specific tiles that we haven't flipped.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that would
Several
come
of
up
these, I think.
if you're playing in plus mode. If the other 2 stories we didn't do.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, I don't really care. Like, to see what that is. Because while the writing isn't bad, it's also not the best. Like, I didn't feel like I was really reading a storybook.
Right.
Like, this had some story sections in it, but it was largely, like, oh, hey, put a ribbon here so you can remember a rule. Which I do appreciate.
Yes.
And I think, and I love
Excellent
the fact...
idea.
Yes. And
Instead of making them loose bookmarks or...
Right. And the fact that the book specifically calls it out. Hey, place the golden ribbon here so you can remember what your special ability is. Place the red one here so you know what your objective is. Like, brilliant.
Yes.
And the fact that he kept it concise where your chapters were at the beginning of the section and then all the tiles that you can explore are in the back.
Yep.
So I mean, there's more good things, but I think overall, it's not that there's major bad things, except I think an actual bad thing is the tile flipping.
Yeah.
The rest is very lackluster, and I probably wouldn't want to play it again.
Yeah. Big step up from Andor, though.
Oh yeah, Andor. I can't remember exactly what we gave Andor, but Andor tanked hard.
Yeah.
This flatlined.
Yeah.
Like, it was, like, the first couple of scenarios, I was like, oh, this is pretty neat. But then once the allure of the flipping of tiles kind of wears off, then you're like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Now I'm kind of over it.
With you there.
So, well, that's our thoughts on the adventure of Robin Hood. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.